Hello students, welcome back. This is Deepak Kumar Sahu from Odisha Adarsha Vidyalaya Gunupur and you are learning a gift of Chappals part 3. Well, let's take a quick look at what we had done in the last class. A beggar's voice is heard when the three, that is Mridu, Meena and Ravi, were watching Lali struggle with the violin. Rukumani asks Ravi to turn the beggar away. Then the children see blisters on the feet and feel sorry for the beggar. They try to look for an old pair for the beggar at home. Let's study further to know what happened in the story. Just as she stepped into the veranda, Mridu's eyes fell on the odd-looking chappal she had noticed when she arrived. Now what happens is, you might have, remembered this part that when Mido was entering, she had stopped for a couple of minutes, staring at those pair of chappals that were set neatly there, that had scrawny marks. Of course, you know whose those are, right? Now, the music teachers. What happens? So Mridu's eyes fell on the odd-looking chappal she had noticed when she had arrived. Ravi, she whispered to him. Whose are those? Whisper means speaking something in a low voice, especially using your in just the air. Whose are those? Kiska ye chappal hai? Ravi turned and glanced at the shabby looking but sturdy old slippers. Then Ravi stops and then he looks around to find out that those chappals that were there, they were looking shabby. Shabby in the sense they were looking a bit old because it's been worn probably for a long time. But sturdy slippers. But those slippers looked really sturdy, means strong. He beamed and nodded, and that's when he thought that this is exactly what he was looking for. He beamed, as in smiled, and nodded, as in said yes. These are just the right size, he said, picking them up. Mridu and Meena followed him nervously back into the garden. Now these two people are followed him, and he took the pair of chappals and went straight to the beggar. Here, said Ravi to the beggar, dropping the slippers in front of the old man. Wear these and don't come back. So now what does he do? He takes the pair of chappals and then drops it in front of the beggar and asks him to wear it and not to come back to their place once again. The beggar stared at the slippers. Looked for a long time at the slippers. Hurriedly flung. What is hurriedly? Quickly. Flung is the past tense of fling, which means to throw. So he put his towel on his shoulder, over his shoulder, pushed his feet into them and left, muttering to speak something unclearly. Muttering a blessing to the children. In a minute, he had vanished around the corner of the street. What is vanished? Disappeared. Now, after having got the pair of chappals, the beggar is absolutely happy, and then he wears them and then immediately vanishes. The music master came out from the house and took an unappreciative look at three of them sitting quietly under the tree, playing marbles. Then he searched for his chappals in the veranda where he had put them. The moment the music master came out, he gave an unappreciative look. What is unappreciative? Something that you do not appreciate. Probably the music teacher did not like these three children, and therefore that look was more like a dislike. Alright. And then after having given them that look, then he started looking for his chappals, which is nobody, the beggar has worn it and already run away. Lali, he searched for a while, and then when he could not find it, he called his most obedient, student, Lali. Lali, he called after a few moments. She hurried up to him. Have you seen my chappals, my dear? I remember having kept them here. So he asks Lali that whether she had seen his pair of chappals. Ravi, Mridu and Meena. These are the good criminals. Mridu and Meena silently watched Lali and music master search every corner of the veranda. He scurried around. What is scurrying? To run away. Walk quickly with small little steps. Alright? He scurried around looking over the railing and crouching near the flower pots. Crouching means, have you seen those babies who are not yet able to walk, how they move from side to place, like on their knees, right? So similarly, the music master also was bending and he was looking everywhere. And then what does he say? Brand new they were. He says that his chappals were brand new. You guys know how brand new, those pair of chappals were. He says that those chappals were brand new. I went all the way to Mount Road to buy them. He talks about a certain place called Mount Road, or probably a shop where he went to buy those slippers. And then he says how much that cost him. He says that they cost a whole month's fees. Do you know? So whatever Lali pays, that month's total fees, whatever is the fees, that is the worth of that chappal, or the price of the chappal. Soon Lali went in to tell her mother. Rukumani appeared looking harassed with Pati following her. Now what happens here is when Lali is unable to find those pair of chappals, she runs into into the house and calls Rukumani, who comes out along with Pati, and she looks absolutely harassed or troubled. Where could they be? It's really quite upsetting to think someone might have stolen them. So many vendors come to the door, worried Pati. Now the thing is that Rukumani has come outside and they are all worried that who could have taken those pair of chappals. And they instantly think of the vendors. Who are vendors? Those people who come to your house to sell things, right? They go street to street and sell things, right? Alright, so possibly one of them could have stolen it. But this is really bad. Rukumani caught sight of Ravi, Mridu and Meena sitting under the tree. That moment Rukumani sees these three kids sitting under the tree. Have you children? She began. She started with, have you children? This is how she started. And then seeing they were curiously quiet, went on more slowly. Seen anyone lurking around the veranda? Now she is doubtful. Initially she had asked a genuine question, but now she got really suspicious, having seen their faces, which were curiously quiet, silent. A sharp V-shaped line had formed between her eyebrows. When a V-shape occurs between your eyebrows, when you are, probably annoyed, or when you are doubtful, right? Another straight, tighter one appeared in place of her usually soft and pleasant mouth. Usually Rukumani is a soft-spoken person, but this time, she is a bit rude. Let's see what she's gonna say. Rukumani was angry, thought Mridu with a shiver. So Mridu was now afraid and she was shivering. She wouldn't be so upset if she knew about the poor beggar with sores on his feet. Sores means blisters. She tried to tell herself. So Mridu tells herself that maybe Rukumani is angry because she doesn't know about the poor beggar and his feet. And therefore, she thinks that she should try to explain that. Taking a deep breath, she cried. And now she took a deep breath and started crying because she is no longer able to hold her emotion. She said that Rukumani, there was a beggar here, poor thing. He had such boils on his feet. She started saying that, there was a beggar here and who had got blisters on his soul, and that was so sad to see. I mean, we could not see the pain of that beggar, and, So, said Rukumani grimly, turning to Ravi, you gave the music master's chappal to that old beggar who turns up here. Oh my God. What have you done? Just because he's got sores on his feet, you would give somebody else's chappals, and that to the music teacher's chappals. Children these days, groaned Pati. Pati complained, oh my God, these kids. Amma, didn't you tell me about Karna, who gave away means to give to other people, right? To donate. Everything he had, even his gold earrings. He was so kind and generous, right? Amma, did not you tell about Karna from Mahabharata? So who was he? He was, a person who was known for his generous attitude. So he would donate anything, like whatever he has. And here they say that even Karna, who was identified, or who was a good person according to Rukumani, right? Also donated things to other people. So the children also have done the same thing. They have donated things. So what's wrong in that? Okay, silly, snapped Rukumani. Karna didn't give away other people's things. He only gave his own. She says that, come on, what is this nonsense? Karna never gave other people's things. He gave his own things to other people. You guys are giving other people's things to the beggar. Come on. But my chappals wouldn't have fitted the beggar's feet. Ravi rushed confidently. And Amma, if they did fit, would you really not have minded? Ravi, applies wits, shows some smartness and asks a, smart question here. He says that, Mom, my chappals would not have fitted the beggar's feet. Otherwise, I would have given mine to him. But then, tell me one thing, Mama, clearly, honestly, even if my chappal did fit the beggar, would you not have minded really? Ravi, said Rukumani, very angry now. Go inside this minute. Truth hurts, right? So now, Rukumani is angry, really angry, furious right now. And she says that, come on, too much of talk. Go inside now. She hurried indoors and brought out Gopu Mama's hardly worn new chappals. Rukumani goes inside and brings out Gopu Mama's new chappal. This should fit you, sir. Please put this on. I'm so sorry. My son has been very naughty. The music master's eyes lit up. When the music master received that pair of chappals, he was impressed. He was very happy. His eyes lit up. It was way better than his old shabby looking chappals. And then Rukumani asks for apology, and she feels sorry for what her son had done. Well, he put them on, trying not to look too happy. Well, I suppose this will have to do. These days, children have no respect for elders. What to do? A Hanuman incarnate. Incarnate means form, right? Hanuman form. Well, what does the music teacher says? Okay, I'll manage with these chappals. Actually, he's very happy, but then from on the outside, he shows that he's trying not to look too happy. And he says that these days children are really bad, and they are like Hanuman incarnate. It's like indirect way to say that Ravi is a little monkey. All right, no, we know that Hanuman is Lord, but definitely the music teacher is not going to compare him with a Lord. Definitely he's trying to talk about the incarnation or the form, the monkey form of him. Only Ram can save such a naughty fellow. Rukumani's eyes flashed. She didn't seem to like Ravi being called a monkey, even a holy monkey. She stood stiff and straight by the front door. It was clear she wanted him to leave quickly. Now the heart of a mother melted, even though her son might have done something wrong. But then it was not really that wrong. But then when her son was compared to, was called a monkey by the music teacher, she could not like that. She did not like that idea. She went near the door and she stood there as if it was a signal for the music teacher to leave that home immediately. When he clattered off in his new chappals, clattered off means to, walk away with making those sounds with the chappals. In his new chappals, she said, Mido, come in and have some tiffin. Honestly, how do you children think of such things? Thank God your Gopu Mama doesn't wear his chappals to work. And now she says that, she is now very happy. Happy in the sense she is like all like relaxed and all of that. And she said that like, come on, how do children, come up with such kind of ideas that you should give somebody chappals to somebody and things like that? Thank God your Gopu Mama doesn't wear chappals to work. So when your Gopu Mama goes to office, thank God he doesn't wear any chappal. If he wore that, then it would have been a serious trouble right now. Okay, because she has given his chappal to the beggar. As she walked towards the kitchen with Mridu and Meena, she suddenly began to laugh. But he's always in such a hurry to throw off his shoes and socks and get into his chappals as soon as he comes home. But one thing is there, that when the moment Gopu Mama comes back from office, he searches for those chappals and he wears and feels comfortable in that. Now, what is going to happen to him today? Socks and comes home. What's your mama going to say this evening when I tell him I gave his chappals to the music teacher? So when he will discover that his pair of new chappals have been gifted to the music teacher, what would be the reaction of Gopu Mama? That is something interesting to see. No doubt the story has ended here, but the message is never ending. Well, in fact, one thing very interesting that we saw in this lesson is this, that children, the innocence of children. You see, when they were giving away the chappals of the music master, they never even thought for a while what is going to be their punishment or how they are going to suffer. They instantly given it to a person who needed it the most. But if it was the elders, then they would have thought about it for 1,000 times. Well, the important message that we get from this lesson is empathy. Empathy. What is empathy? Understanding other person's pain by putting yourself in their condition. Thinking that what would I have done if I was in his place? That is empathy. Well, most of the time people just shower sympathy and there is no empathy, which can actually make them call a true human being. What is sympathy? Sympathy is just saying words, of sadness. Things like, oh my God, that should not have happened. Oh, that's bad. Okay, such words are called sympathy. But this is not going to help in anyways. As you saw in the lesson, Meena was saying, this is not fair, this is not fair. That is sympathy. But understanding that person's, problem, right, and doing some action for that, doing something for that is empathy. So that is the basic difference between sympathy and empathy. And if you have learned this part well, then you can truly turn into a good human being. Not just a human being, you can learn the art of being human. Alright guys, that's all about this beautiful lesson, a gift of chappal. So thank you so much for listening, and I wish you all the best for your future, and thank you so much. Keep learning. Thank you.